The opposite of the 7 deadly sins. These are the 7 heavenly virtues of Counter-Strike, the players we admire not only for their skill, but also for their character. Hey, I'm Lidas, and without wasting any more time, we're starting with the one player you probably already expected to see on this list. Patient is the opposite of wrath, is being always calm and steady, even when faced with difficulty, delay, or provocation. And the perfect match for this virtue is a player without haters, the Norwegian god Howard Nygaard, as well as Rain. Okay, it's actually his name, okay? Actually, it will be a bit off topic, but he could fit each virtue on this list pretty much easily. But unfortunately, this video is not only about Rain, and patience is actually the best virtue that really suits him well. From our perspective, he literally is the definition of calmness. Even in the stressful situation, he remains clean in his aim, smart in his decision, which make him so damn reliable. But we're not talking just in the game, but also in the real life. All his teammates had been praising him for being a good teammate and friend. I enjoy playing with Rain, says Frozen. The best teammate I played with as a teammate was Rain, says Guardian. Everyone who has played with Rain talk about him highly, and everyone was marking his calm nature as someone who is super calm in very intense moments. However, patience is not only being always calm and steady, it's also about facing with difficulty. If you're old like me and watch CS from 2015, you probably can imagine FaZe without Rain, because he was loyal to FaZe clan since the beginning and already faced many challenges with them. He saw every heartbreaking moments of his team. Over the years, teammates came and left, entire lineups rotated around him. Most players would have changed already a team looking for a new option. But Rain stayed. He decided to trust the process. He understood that success takes time. That's what patience is all about. Waiting, enduring, and believing in the long run, until finally his patience was finally rewarded. At the PGL Major in 2022, after 6 long years, Rain finally lifted the trophy, not just as a champion, but as the MVP of the Major. The living proof that patience, when matched with the hard work, eventually pays back everything you invested. He showed that patience isn't just about waiting, it's about waiting with purpose. Rain is currently not a part of FaZe clan, but he proved he's not just a player, he's the legacy of his own. And moving to the next virtue, the next player is someone who stayed pure and devoted to his partner. Chastity is the opposite of lust. It's usually tied to purity, self-control, and devotion. And it also can be reframed today as loyalty and self-respect within personal relationships with a partner who will always stay by your side no matter what. And the player who actually matched this virtue very well is Justinas Lekavičius, as known as JL, with his wife Camille. JL is right now most well-known player in CS. From his journey from the unknown to the major MVP says itself. However, his start wasn't that smooth. In 2020, he was just a 20 years old guy with a blurred future. He was trying to qualify to FPLC many times, but ended up failing almost every time. For those who didn't know, he was considering quitting CS to become a delivery guy, but luckily for him, one day he queued up for a matchmaking game where he met his partner, Camille. I actually don't know if it's true. This information is not confirmed by JL, so I think it's most likely a cap. But anyway, she believed in him and supported him throughout his journey, and she was the one who encouraged JL to never quit his dream.
So I'm gonna be a delivery guy. And she's like, what are you talking about? You're gonna waste all of this talent and all this hard work you've done for nothing? And if you need something, I'll always be there by your side. And
afterwards, a few weeks later, JL got invited to FPLC, where his career started to go up. But the most important event of his life was reaching the playoffs of the last CSGO Major in Paris, where right afterwards he was noticed by Na'Vi. Actually, no one believed in JL and his team. Neither am I. What the hell, Na'Vi you, what the f***? Especially after Simple's leave. But that makes the story of the unknown so magical. Na'Vi were unstoppable and amazed everyone by winning the first CS2 Major. No one expected them to win the Major without Simple. And beside that, JL received the MVP medal of this Major. And after some time, he married to this girl. God damn it, I also wanted. It should have been me!
It should have been me, not him!
Camille was in fact the reason that JL didn't quit, and thanks to her, we now can witness the character in CS scene. JL is right now on the break from the competition, but as of right now, he's making content and exploring things. And Brooks, we could sometimes see them on his stream or in his video together and notice that they're living happily with healthy and supportive relationships. JL could actually fit the next virtue, but I left it for the person who truly won our hearts. Kindness is the opposite of envy. It's the virtue of treating others with compassion, respect, and generosity. And the player who perfectly represents this virtue is Yaroslav Yazamkovsky or PashaBiceps.
What's your max feel? Tell me.
You're kidding me.
Nowadays, new gens don't recognize legend by face. So let me tell you, Pasha is already a retired professional player, major winner, and major MVP. What is your max elo? Tell me. You Back in the days, he played in the legendary Polish team under Virtus Pro. But to us, he wasn't just a player, he was a brother.
You are not my friends, you're my brothers, my friend.
Even on the peak of his popularity, when he consistently streamed to 10,000 viewers, Pasha showed the same heart. He never neglected his fans and was completely honest to them, always spreading positivity and love on the camera and off. And one day, he got the donation from one guy named Motor2K. And that was a lot of money even till this day. But Pasha stayed humble and was so grateful for this donation.
Say thank you to the Uncle Motaro. Say thank you to Uncle Motaro. Thank you, Motar2K.
It truly shows how Pasha really treats his fans. And after Pasha retired, Pasha proved that not only superstar players will be remembered, but also players who remain kind and positive throughout their journey. He will be remembered as someone who is always smiling and always giving more of himself than anyone expected. For Pasha, it was not only just about the game, it was about the people around it. Whether you were a teammate, a fan, or even a rival, you could feel his kindness. Pasha is not entirely gone from CS, he sometimes shows up on events, streaming, and making content. But he will be remembered forever in our hearts. Moving to the next player, this player represents balance itself. Temperance is the opposite of gluttony. It's a virtue of self-control, moderation, and balance in all things. And the player who perfectly represents this virtue is Nikolai Rees, as known as Device. Device is one of the most titled player in entire CS, 19 MVPs, and a lot of trophies, including 4 majors. He was the part of the legendary Astralis team and the superstar of their roster. He never was the flashiest one like other star opers like Simple and Kenny S, and also never was an aggressive one. But his playstyle is about textbooks without pushing any boundaries. His aim was always about precision and efficiency. He never was hungry for kills and never looked for crazy plays. He developed this kind of playstyle in perfection that everyone started to notice that this kind of opening is also effective. But not only that, his personality also matched perfectly with Temperance. Before CS, Device was actually a badminton player. He played it seriously that he could follow the path of being professional, but unfortunately, due to his injury, he forced to step back. Right after, he started focusing more on staying fit. It taught him something valuable. It's how important it is to take care of his health and not overdo it. It carried over into his esport career. Even today, Device keeps himself disciplined, training physically, and still playing badminton as a hobby. Already in CS, many times due to his health, he forced to take a break, but right after his recovery, it didn't stop him to be a top performer in his team. That is a balance, both in life and in the server. Device is unarguably one of the best player in history of CS, but the next player is the best of the best. Humility is the opposite of pride. It's not thinking you're better than others, even if you are talented or successful. And as everyone already know, Matthew Herbeau, as known as ZywOo, is a perfect fit for this virtue. ZywOo is not just only the best player in the world, he's a living example of humility. Despite all the awards, MVP medals, and titles, you rarely hear him brag. In interviews, he often shifts his praise to his teammates.
What have you got to say about
about winning this game.
For him, it's never about being the star, it's about the game he loves. One of the clear signs of humility is what others say about you. And when it comes to ZywOo, you'd be hard-pressed to find a single pro who has anything bad to say. Many pros have pointed out despite being one of the best players in the world, ZywOo never acts like he's above anyone. He doesn't trash talk, doesn't involve in dramas. He's approachable, polite, and genuinely respected. And here where the comparison becomes interesting. Think about Simple, the opposite of ZywOo. One of the greatest players the game has ever seen. But his battle on the top was built with a lot of intensity and sometimes frustration with teammates, while ZywOo was only accused of being cheater like every talented player. Everyone could only criticize him for his fall from 1.4 rating to 1.2 rating, but not for his personality. At the end of the day, ZywOo's humility shines both inside and outside the server. He has every reason to be cocky. Majors champion, National TV #1 player many times, MVP medals, but he's the same cheerful guy. But maybe of that, maybe that's why so many people admire him, because he shows us that the true greatness doesn't need arrogance. ZywOo is gifted and his talent hasn't made him arrogant. Moving on to the next person, he didn't stop even after being betrayed by his teammate, when nobody believed in him anymore. Instead of giving up, he kept working no matter what. Diligence is the opposite of sloth. It means always trying your best, doing what belief is right, and not giving up. Many players could fit this virtue very well, and I know many people might not agree with me, but Aleksib or Aleksib had a journey that inspired me to put him as the virtue of diligence. When people talk about diligence in CS, they usually imagine someone grinding non-stop, but Aleksib represents a different kind of diligence, the kind where you keep doing the work even when nobody believes in you anymore. For most people, his story really starts with Ants in 2019, a sensational Finnish team that nobody expected to compete at the top level. They came out of nowhere and reached a major final. Of course, they didn't win, it was the Astralis era at that time, but they fought so well that within a single year, Ants became a top tier team. And many people believed Aleksib was the leader behind that rise. And then suddenly, he got kicked. Not because Ants was failing, but because the team believed they could do better without him, and because of someone. From the outside, it felt unfair, but Aleksib didn't make excuse. He kept playing for Ants until the very end, fully aware of the outcome, and was benched only after Starlight and Berlin Major 2019. Next came OG, a brand new project. OG was competitive within their level, but never was the real title contender. Still, Aleksib kept working. Then came what looked like a real opportunity, G2. On paper it was a perfect match, a young superstar in Monacy, experienced veterans, and Nico himself. But it didn't work. Results were inconsistent, the pressure was high, and once again, Aleksib was caught again. After G2, NAP was supposed to be a fresh start for him, but it ended the same way. At that point, the narrative was clear, and many teams didn't want to take the risk anymore. But Na'Vi trusted they got. They were competitive at first, but almost immediately things went wrong. Simple step away from the active roster and most people completely wrote the team off. And there was basically no faith in the lineup or in Aleksib. But then came the first CS2 major. Just like in JL's story, this is the moment where everyone's jaws dropped. Now we won the first CS2 major, and it still feels unbelievable to say this for the second time. After the major, the results didn't stop. Now we went to win 4 events including the major. Now we was named the best team of 2024, and also Aleksib was named the best IGL of 2024. Everyone doubted him, and in the end it worked out in the best possible way. The amount of work Aleksib has put into the game and the road he has gone through are truly admirable. The next player who we are gonna talk about is also IGL and the person who without a doubt the father of Brazilian CS. Charity is the opposite of greed. It means helping others with kindness and generosity, especially by giving time, money, or support to those in need. And Gabriel Toledo, aka Fallen, is a perfect match for this virtue. In Brazil, before Fallen, young players didn't have same opportunity as those in Europe or NA. Fallen saw that problem and created Games Academy. It started as an educational project to teach and train Brazilian players. It offered offered servers, lessons, and tournaments to help young players improve their skills. Many Brazilian pros like Fer, Taco, Coulter, and others came up through the Games Academy. So, in short, Games Academy was Fallen's own project to grow the next generation of Brazilian players. Besides that, Fallen's charity wasn't just limited to founding academies. He also took the time to share his knowledge directly with the community. Through his YouTube channel that has 1 million subscribers, he created guides and tutorials in Portuguese. For many Brazilian players, these videos were the first real access to structured CS by the pro player. His generosity was truly remarkable, and as a player, his sense of charity also stood out. He felt his team like a true star opera. At that time, Fury was declining. It was a risky move. Eventually, he passed the op role to Molodor and moved to the anchor role, which he was not familiar with. Giving away your signature weapon, the role that defined you and you got famous for, in order to give the team to progress. Now Fury is consistently competing at the top level, and at the time of recording this video, they have won 4 tournaments. The progress is significant, and it's all because Fallen was ready to give his all to the team. That's why Fallen is the greatest representation of this virtue. And that's it. If you want more, there's a video about 7 deadly sins on my channel. It's the opposite of 7 heavenly virtues. I would highly recommend you to watch it. And see you next time.